Richard Branson, Einstein, Gwen Stefani, and myself. What all we got in common? That's right, we're all dyslexic. Yes, we are. So let me go ahead and tell you how I, a poor dyslexic child, decided to go ahead and graduate nursing school and ended up making it through it. So as a child, my mother decided that I was not reading and writing and called the school, got me tested. School went on ahead and came back to her and said, you know what, Miss Chris's mom, your child is dyslexic. Dyslexic I was. Went on ahead and put me in IEP classes. I was in IEP classes throughout elementary school and middle school. So for 8 years, I was in IEP classes, sort of separate from everyone else. Whenever we would learn about English, writing, reading, things like that, I would go to a separate setting and learn with other children who were sort of in the same boat as I was. This was all well and good until about high school. When high school rolls around, that's when my high school decided to do what's called inclusion, where you are with an IEP, you are with regular kids in a regular class. There's only an IEP teacher in there with you, so you actually have 2 teachers per sort of English class, math class, whatever your IEP is in. My IEP was, of course, in English, reading, writing, things like that. So in high school, we were in inclusion classes, so I was with the normal children. And it was here in high school where I discovered, you know what, I'm going to have to work harder than the other children, and I'm going to have to learn better than the other children so that I can quit getting made fun of. Because your boy here, about the 3rd time he went up to the board and wrote something down and it was incorrect or read out loud, and it was not the words that were supposed to be read, got a little bit perturbed, a little bit aggravated. You know what, Ryan over there, I'm going to bust you in your head, you call me out one more time. So rather than busting Ryan in the head one more time, I decided to take it upon myself and learn. And learn I did. I sort of had to teach myself how to read and write. I figured out quickly in high school that writing in all caps was definitely beneficial to me. All caps, in my mind, do not look as odd as lowercase letters. For some reason, I can distinguish them better. Numbers, not so much. There's no uppercase number. In any case, I was able to graduate myself through high school. You know, of course, no big A's and B's. I believe I was 81st out of my class of 151, so sort of less than half. But I did pick up one thing, and that's how I have to learn. It's a slower way of learning. It's a more in-depth way of learning. But I sort of taught myself that I need this slower way of learning. I need this more in-depth way of learning, and I had to do it myself. No one else was going to teach me how to do it. This was all well and good. I did end up going to a 4-year university because your boy was a track star. And when you podium at states, colleges want to look at you. Well, figured out quickly, and it's probably not due to the dyslexia, that I was not built for college. So at 19 years old, I went to work for Chevrolet. And I thought that I was going to retire from Chevrolet. I thought I was going to die working at Chevrolet. I thought this was my forever job, working at Chevrolet. Until 2008, when the economic crisis happened and I lost my job. Started looking through the newspapers and realized the only people that are hiring right now is healthcare. So I went on ahead and got my CNA. It's not as hard as what people think it is. Pretty easy. Got my CNA, became a CNA. And then got married, and my oldest was on her way. And I thought to myself, you know, right now I can afford me and my wife. I don't think I'm going to be able to afford me and my wife and a child. So decided to go on back to school. Got into nursing school, which is no easy feat in itself. And then when I got into nursing school, everyone struggles. No one has an easy time in nursing school. You find one person that says, oh, I breezed through nursing school, didn't even have to open a book, and I'm going to call you a lie. Ain't nobody breeze through nursing school. So when we all struggle in nursing school, the struggle was, in my opinion, harder for those who had an easy time in high school. It was a harder time for those kids who everything came easy, that never ever had to open a book. Now you're in nursing school. Now you have to think. Now you have to teach yourself how to do things. And guess who already had an upper hand at that? That's right, this cat right here. Because I had already been teaching myself how to do things. I had already taught myself all caps is how I need to learn. I need to learn how to read my book sort of curved so that all my letters and everything sort of look correct to me. I had already taught myself this. I had already taught myself that I needed to learn differently than all these other children. And now that I'm in nursing school, it's not easy. It did not come easy. It never came easy. But I didn't have as hard of a time as other people did because I was able to go through steps of how I learned. And I was able to go through steps of how I had taught myself how to learn. And because I was able to take that from high school to nursing school, my dyslexia was almost like a blessing when I got into nursing school. And it just all of a sudden popped. And everything sort of came to me when I was there. And yes, it was a struggle, but it just wasn't as bad of a struggle as other people had, simply because I had this foundation that I had laid upon myself to teach myself. This, I believe, is probably how Einstein is, arguably the greatest physicist known to man. Richard Branson, the CEO of Virgin, doesn't even have a high school diploma. And the dude, I believe, is a billionaire. These two individuals, myself, of course not to their extent, taught ourselves how to lay that foundation of how we need to learn. And all of that is due to the dyslexia. Take it with what it will be. Take it as inspiration, take it as hogwash, however you want to take it. Things didn't come easy, and that was a blessing for me in my adult life. And then as I became a nurse, things still don't come easy. I still need to take the time to learn a new task and slow down and teach it to myself. Will it take longer? Probably. Will I get it? Probably. All due to the dyslexia and how I had to teach myself. Hope it helps. Thank you much.